Hello, this is Rachel here. Now this video is inspired by a comment I received on one of my other videos where this person said that I was bullying Jehovah's Witnesses when all I really was doing was getting them to question one of their key doctrines. It was like a please explain. Now if that's bullying, then this is what Jehovah's Witnesses themselves do when they preach to people and try to get them to look at their teachings. So, anyway, I didn't view my video as bullying at all. I know what bullying is all about because I used to be bullied when I was a child growing up. I was bullied because of my weight. So I grew up having fairly low self-esteem. But I'm over that now. I'm an adult now, and I have good self-esteem now. So insults and things made to me about my teeth, my occupation, they don't affect me at all. Anyway, okay, bullying. Yes, it's not very nice to be on the receiving end of bullying, is it? But are Jehovah's Witnesses really so innocent when it comes to this? I mean, isn't their form of shunning, in a way, is like a type of emotional bullying? It certainly feels that way. I feel bullied when you are silenced, as you are when you're disfellowshipped. Your voice is taken away and people refuse to hear you. So in a way that is a type of bullying. So is the social isolation. That's bullying as well. That's the most obvious form of bullying that I feel Jehovah's Witnesses participate in. But it goes deeper than that. Because Jehovah's Witnesses, they have their organisation on a pedestal and view it as, the only true religion and Jehovah's organisation that should be upholding to very high moral standards. And it's very appearance focused. And people who have been witnesses or current witnesses will understand what I mean. That you have to be seen to be doing all the right things to be considered spiritually strong and to be good association. You have to be writing down the right numbers on your field service report slip. You have to be seen at the meetings. You have to participate in the meetings. If you're a parent, you have to have your children being obedient, being at the meetings, making progress, being out in the ministry. You have to look the part. And I think this is where some of the bullying comes in. And I find it very sad that a lot of young ones who, have been born into the organisation, they feel under pressure to conform with the beliefs of their parents. And that might not be what they believe at all. And parents are under a lot of pressure to look good in the organisation. And I recall Anthony Morris, a governing body member, there was an article about him in one of the Watchtower magazines, and he actually said that when his sons made the truth their own, it made him and his wife look good. So it made them look good. So witness parents are very conscious about looking good to the rest of the congregation, and so sometimes they will resort to threatening their children or bullying their children into coming to the meetings, to going out in the field ministry, even if their children are expressing that they don't believe it. So to me, that is a type of emotional bullying, which is not very nice. I've been guilty of it myself with my son to a small degree, because in the end I respected his decision to think for himself, and to, if he didn't want to be in the organisation, then that was his decision to make. So I didn't force him to be at the meetings. But I know some parents will threaten their children by saying that if they don't come to the meetings, that they're not welcome in their home anymore and they have to move out. That's if they're of an age that they can do that. Or they will threaten them in some other way. For example, Anthony Morris again, at a convention, I believe it was, he said that if your child is putting off getting baptised, then withhold their driver's licence from them. Now, if that's not bullying, then what is? So we see these terrible behaviours in the organisation because of this desire to appear to be the model spiritual parent or family, and it's really impossible to live up to, really. Another area where I've seen bullying occur myself, that I've witnessed, is when I've been on Bible studies with another sister in this case, and when the student expressed that they no longer wish to study the Bible with witnesses, then I saw the emotional blackmail come in, which is a form of bullying in my opinion, where the sister started talking about, don't you love your children? What's going to happen to your children if you stop studying? They're going to die at Armageddon. So all these threats come in. So I think witnesses engage in a type of bullying and emotional blackmail without really realising it. They're so desperate to look good, to bring others into the organisation, because for them that secures their own salvation. Bullying traits are definitely to be found amongst witnesses. We see domestic violence is within the congregations, men who drink, who beat their wives, and in a culture where the women are submissive to the headship of the man, it's very easy for the man to actually abuse his position over his wife and bully her. And actually I remember in an Awake magazine, probably about 3 years ago, there was an article that was directed at married couples, and it was talking about the silent treatment, and how giving your spouse the silent treatment is abusive and manipulative and is a form of bullying, isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of what shunning is, isn't it? Also. So anyway, I hope I've given this person something else to think about, and as a disfellowship person who was cut off from all my former friends just for thinking a little differently on some subjects, and now they shun me actively, except maybe for one person. To me, that feels like bullying of me, persecution of me. I've got used to it now, but yeah. So Jehovah's Witnesses are not the, they're not all little angels with halos over their heads who never succumb to these tactics, the emotional blackmail and things like that. They're just like anybody else and do these things, and the organisation promotes it in some ways. So anyway, I think I've kind of rambled on enough about this. If you've got any comments to make, and I'm sure many of you ex-witnesses probably have some really good experiences of bullying. I've heard some of them myself. with elders who kind of get off on a power trip from being an elder, which is very sad. But anyway, I'll leave it here. Bye.